gonna build a mountain.
Hello you, welcome to Geekism and welcome back to another Planet Zoo video where we're going to take a look at a brand new screenshot released by the Planet Zoo social media team today. I think they're having a bit of a competition in the office at Frontier Developments. What can we show them that gives away so little yet still keeps them hyped? Because that's kind of what we're looking at today. This screenshot has no animals in it, has no buildings in it, so to speak, has no interaction of guests of any kind. What it does give us is a great view of a exhibit that's been created in the game. Now, I'm pretty sure we've seen this exhibit before. I'm pretty sure this is the bear exhibit that's been shown on a couple of the screenshots for the bears, but here we've got a great overview of it. The camera's kind of pulled back a bit, and we can almost take a bit more of a clinical look at what we're looking at here today. So before we move on to the exhibit itself, let's take a look in the background of what we can see. There's an interesting bit of flame, I think, on the left there, some sort of burner. Now, whether or not that's just for looks, or it's some sort of flame lighting, like we do have a few of those in Planet Coaster with the Adventure Pack and a few others. I do wonder whether it's one of those, or it could be something to do with temperature, which is something I'm going to talk about again a little bit later on, because I think there's something to do with temperature hidden in this screenshot. At the back there, we can see that second style of path that we've seen a few times. Most notably, we saw it behind the what we're assuming to be something like lemur enclosure in the older screenshot there that looks like a staff path. And I think that's probably again what we're looking at here. You can see that it sort of goes there and it almost looks like it's going underground to a point there, perhaps under a train track. I think there may be a train track running along the back of the screenshot, but again, it's pretty tricky to see. There doesn't seem to be anything between the two paths there to stop guests walking through it, but what I think is most likely going to happen here is that path is just stuck to being staff only and guests just won't walk onto it, and it's going to be us as the designers, as the players of this game, to make it look like it's not for regular guests. So it's going to be up to us to put signs there if we want to that say no entry, staff only, or gates and things like that. But I think actually just as far as programming is concerned, guests will just know not to walk on that path, very similar to how it works in Parkitect. Next I want to talk about is the foliage here. Again, kind of a bit of a fan of the foliage in this game, especially the long grass, but specifically the trees here, because the reason I want to bring this up is because a few people now have said, oh look, the trees are slightly different. I wonder if they grow, and I wonder if they're or they're procedurally generated or anything. I don't actually think they are. If you look carefully, I think there's a few different types of each tree. Again, very similar to how we have in Planet Coaster currently. You know, most trees have 2 or 3 or 4 variations of them based on size and density, and I think that's what we're looking at here. And they've just cleverly sort of, again, like we would do, turn them round, drop them in and out the ground a little bit, especially on the two on the very far right here. I'm pretty sure that's the exact same tree. I just think one of them is slightly lower and turned a little bit, which is fine by me, to be honest with you. As long as you give me 2 or 3 variations, by turning them around and lowering them, hiring them, you can get enough variation in them, I think. So I don't really think that processing power needs to be spent on foliage growing in real time. I don't really think that's something that would really add that much to the game. If anything, personally, it would be a bit of a hindrance if we've now got to go in and make sure that all the trees get chopped down every now and again too. One thing that does look really fun as far as the game is concerned is this cave. Now again, we have seen a shot of this cave from another angle, but here gives a really great overview. Pretty sure that is terrain built, in as much as that's actually been pulled from the ground and isn't made out of pieces or isn't made out of a ploppable piece. The key thing to note here is on the floor there you can see some sort of hay bunched up, some bedding bunched up. Thank you to everyone who pointed out on a previous video when I was talking about wondering how animals are going to know where their caves are and stuff. I'm pretty sure this confirms the fact that bedding is going to be a placeable item, that animals will know where to find it. So yeah, that's what I think we're looking at here now. Moving down onto the water, and how good does that water look? I don't know what they've done, but personally it looks a lot better than the Planco water. Again, it may well be dynamic water. The key thing we can note here is that it's really quite mucky and murky. One thing they have said in an article is that water will get dirty over time, naturally, as the animals use it, and for the most part animals themselves won't mind the dirty water, but the guests will, especially if they're viewing through the water for some sort of aquatic animal, well, not necessarily aquatic animals, but animals that swim, so to speak. they're going to not be a massive fan of it because it means they won't see the animals because of how dirty it is. So you are going to have some sort of water filtration system in. Talking of filtration systems, you can see a few points during this screenshot, and I think we've seen them on other screenshots as well, these sort of grids, these grates. Now, there's been a lot of speculation as to what these are today. A lot of people think that they may be drains for the water. Again, we have been told that water is dynamic to an extent and does bunch up and make puddles in things like that. Looking at the placement of these, I don't actually think that's what we're looking at. On a few other screenshots, you can see that these seem to produce some sort of steam, and a few people have said that they're some sort of fog generator that's used for to create ambience or whatever. I don't think it's that actually. What I think these are heat vents, because it has been said that temperature is important to the animals, and the way that you monitor temperature is by using vents that push out hot air or cold air. And I think that's what we're looking at here. Thinking of a bear, I'm imagining, and it's very sunny on this picture, I'm thinking that these are maybe cooling vents, and they're used to cool down the areas so that the animals feel good, and that would explain the sort of the mist that you can see, the cooler air. That's a way of the game showing you that the thing's kicking in, the thing's working. Although these aren't very efficient, they are used in real life. I know for a fact that they use these on the train ride at, I think it's Busch Gardens, or it might be Animal Kingdom, I forget, one of those, the train ride that goes through the safari. They have some of these cooling vents built behind stones, behind rocks, that make the animals come when the temperature is really high. It makes the animals come closer to the train tracks so you can see them better, and the animals are able to cool down. So this does happen in real life, so to speak, and I think that's probably what we're looking at here, ways of cooling down certain spots in the exhibit. The only reason I don't think they're drains is purely because of the placement of them. I don't understand why you would have a drain right next to the water, and I don't really understand why you'd have a drain here in the middle where it looks like it's actually on one of the higher points of the enclosure. I would imagine that if they would work better lower down. The last thing I really want to point out here is at the back of this screenshot there's a path that takes us down to some sort of building, and I have no idea what that is. I've spent about a good sort of 10 minutes looking at it, not a clue what we're looking at there. Any suggestions, please pop them down in the comments. I really can't figure out what that is. Maybe those the bars at the bottom are picnic benches or something, or the bars at the top are just like a roof area. I really don't know. And also this gorgeous tree as well. I wanted to point out this tree that's fallen over. Again, that's really, really nice scenery piece, and I think that's all it is, to be honest with you. I'd be very surprised if it was anything more. I think that's a piece that you can place down, you can turn it round, you can put it where you need it to be, and it adds a little bit of ambience and a little bit of environment points as far as the animal concerned. I don't think that trees in this game are falling over when they die. I think that's a mechanic that is a little bit too far beyond the scope of a Zoo Tycoon style game. And I think here we're looking at a scenery item, much in the same way that you put down foliage and rocks. I think that's going to be a place you can put down that, and there's probably going to be lots of others, different types of tree trunks and tree stumps and other sort of wooden structures and tyres, hopefully, for things like chimpanzees and stuff like that. But yeah, I think that's what we're looking at there. Again, gorgeous screenshot. Would have liked to have seen something, maybe just a little animal somewhere in the corner, but they definitely make it tough for people like me who are covering this stuff on YouTube, but it's still really nice to see that they're bringing out stuff. And what was that, 4 days I think in between this one, the last one? Give me a new screenshot every 4 days. That will most definitely keep me psyched and hyped and fed until the game launches in fall 2019, and until it does, and after it does, of course. Make sure you keep it here on Geekism. We're going to be covering everything at Planet Zoo. If you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe. If you did enjoy the video, please leave a like. It really does help out the channel. If you fancy a chat, you can find me on Twitter. I'm at Jonty Sparrow. If you'd like to join me with the Geekism Discord, you can do so. The link will be in the description. Thank you to all of our patrons. They make these videos possible through their generous support at patreon.com/geekism. And don't forget to check out our affiliate links. Get yourself some cheap games and other goodies while supporting the channel at the same time. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.